Hello, this is RPTV. My name is Ella Kachmelia, and today I'll be speaking with Maseeda Majeed and Nayeon about the pods recently initiated in Regent Park. Inspired by the importance of community during the COVID-19 pandemic, Maseeda and Nayeon decided to help bring pods to Regent Park. Pods are a safe and distant way for neighbors to communicate online, whether it be to socialize or aid others in the community. With the support of the Regent Park Social Development Planning Table, 3 pods have already been started in Regent Park with the hopes of many more. Hi Maseeda, hi Nayeon. Thank you so much for speaking with me. Let's get started. So how long have you both been living in Regent Park?
I guess is where we'll start. Yeah. Go ahead, Dan.
You've been here way longer, so I thought you were gonna go first. I'm pretty new. I've been here. It'll be coming up to 3 years for me.
Okay. And I've been here for a little over 15 years.
How did you first hear about the pods?
So Maseeda and I are part of the Regent Park Social Development Planning Table, and we are part of the community building group as well. And there was so Parkdale had a community neighborhood pod that was growing at the very beginning of the pandemic, and a couple of us heard about it and thought it would be really great to bring it to Regent Park. So Maseeda and I happen to live right across from each other, and we thought we could just start it on our street with a small group of our neighbors. So we started from there.
Where are the pods in Regent Park currently?
So yeah, our pod is the only one for the townhouses for now, but then we have 2 more, I believe, in Regent Park. There might be more on the way. I'm not sure as of yet, but yeah, we have 2 of the high-rise buildings, TCHC buildings, that have also taken on the same model as our pod. Okay, amazing.
How have the pods changed Regent Park and impacted the community?
Yeah, for us, we are not in a high rise, so it's
okay, so it's
it's on our street, so it's a group of townhouses. And yeah, I personally have met a lot of new neighbors. It's been great to connect with them and just get to know who's next to me, who's beside me, who's in front of me, and getting to know people as we were all going through a shared challenge of going through the pandemic. So that to me has been the biggest difference.
Right.
How are people grouped into pods?
Right. The idea is to give support and to receive support to your neighbors, and that is done easily if you're living next to the person or close to the person. So it is a distance thing that we looked at. So Nayeon reached out to her neighbors on her street, and I reached out to my neighbors on my street, and we both are living across from each other. So that's how we decided to create the pod. So not only so we don't want it to be not everybody around Regent Park would join the same pod. So our pod would be in these 2 streets, and another pod would be in another street, just so people are close to each other and able to receive and give support easier.
Right. Yeah. What are some personal highlights to your experiences with the pods? When have they truly demonstrated that sense of community that the project aimed to do?
Yeah, I think when we first started, I just remember, Maseeda, I think I shared this story. There was a first, so our conversation is done through WhatsApp, and in our group message, somebody had said it was like a rainy night and she received a huge delivery of vegetables, and she had extra bags of spinach and broccoli, and she said, if anyone, and she lives alone, so she said, if anyone wants to come and pick up, extra spinach and broccoli, just come by her sidewalk, and people can pick it up. And that was the first offer that was shared on our website, on our WhatsApp. And Maseeda and I sort of jumped and we were like, oh my God, the first one. And then from there on has been just pure kindness of people, neighbors making extra food and asking if anyone wants to come by to grab a bowl of soup, or someone is going out to the groceries and running errands, if anyone wanted to have something picked up. That to me has been just the biggest sign of hope as we were going through a very challenging and uncertain time, I think.
Can you see the pods lasting after the pandemic?
Yeah, that's the hope. Like Nayeon and I are hoping that once we don't need the pods for support, we would either virtually or outside social distancing meet our neighbors, right? I mean, it's great to know folks virtually, but it's more impactful if you can have a face-to-face conversation, relationship. So yeah, we're hoping that it grows into something more than just the virtual pods. So we'll see how that goes. We don't have a plan as of yet how that will work out, but really depends on what happens with COVID, I guess.
How did you know that you wanted to bring pods to Regent Park?
Like when you first saw them in, was it Parkdale you said?
Yeah, I just think that I'm not sure. I'm not sure, Maseeda. I don't know if it was like, oh, we need it in our, like, I just think that I grew up in a community where everyone, all the elders and parents and kids around me would know me. And there's a saying that it takes a village to raise a child. And I grew up in a community like that, and just thought more than ever at the beginning of the pandemic, not only were people feeling isolated, and we might have healthcare workers, we might have seniors. I just thought this mutual neighborly support would be really needed.
What method did you use to get word out around your community about your local pod?
So Nayeon and I made a quick little flyer just introducing ourselves, what we wanted to do, and what the point of the pods were. We gave out our number and had neighbors just reach out to us. And then once they did, we would add them to the WhatsApp group. We would explain the kind of the purpose and how the rules of engagement, and then add folks into a WhatsApp group altogether. The coordinating wasn't that difficult. We just had to connect with people and add them together, and then from then on, folks would carry on by themselves, without our support too much.
Right.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
And sorry, I would to answer your first question. Would we encourage, or would I encourage? I definitely would. Definitely encourage folks. It's a great way to connect to people right now during COVID-19, but just having a relationship with your neighbors is a very, very healthy way to live, right? To have meaningful relationship with your neighbors really helps community grow. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it.
Did you already know everybody in your pod, or was it mostly new faces?
Maseeda, I'm not sure. I would say mostly new.
Yeah, I felt like I knew 2 of the names out of the 20.
I would say, honestly, Maseeda and I were just also getting to know each other. We'd been on the group maybe for almost a year, but there's so many meetings and so many people in every meeting, and it's hard to get to know every one of them deeply. So it's actually been really great to build this relationship, this friendship, I think. And my highlight again is seeing, meeting new neighbors and exchanging kindness, just human kindness, and whether it was just borrowing an eraser or, seeing a neighbor return the favor with like raw eggs, it was like, that to me was the biggest highlight. And to see even like Maseeda, I've seen you around the neighborhood, didn't know where you lived. it wasn't until like maybe a week or so into the pod that you spotted me on my back, like on my patio, and we waved at each other. And yeah, I think to me, these have been the highlights for sure.
Amazing.
Have you formed any new or deeper connections through your pod?
Yeah, I definitely didn't know anyone other than you and a few, like you, like just maybe one or two. But you know, I think that was the best thing about the pod, that as we were connecting on our own with our neighbors, but also seeing our neighbors connect with each other, we learned that, you know, some of them had been living here for, you know, over 10 years and had never met each other.
Yeah.
So this was the first time through, whether it's just, you know, delivering and exchanging a, you know, bowl of soup or food, that's how they got to meet for the first time in 10 years while living on the same street. So I think, yeah, I'm hopeful that these relationships will continue to grow.
Amazing.
Can you give some more details about the outside organizations supporting the pods?
Or
So
like you
we
guys.
are
Sorry, go ahead.
supported by the Regent Park Social Development Plan, so that the community building group that Nayeon and I both sit on. So we are supported by that piece, but in the SDP tables, we have folks who are agencies, who are residents, other stakeholders that sit there. But the coordination piece was just done by Nayeon and I, and if we ever needed help, we could always find resources to them. So we never felt like, oh, we were by ourselves. If something happened, we didn't have anyone to help us. So that was helpful for the both of us moving forward. But we didn't require a lot of support right now. Like, it didn't seem like it was such a heavy work that we needed agency support. Yeah.
Would you recommend other communities start pods as well?
I would say, you know, it is a really great way to build community. And whether or not it is called a neighborhood pod, there are many similar initiatives, whether it's just a Facebook group in a building, or just a women's group or whatnot. That's something we learned as we were going through this process too, to identify, you know, where we might be able to expand this pod and start a new pod. And we got to learn that there, in many ways, our community has a lot of these little pods that have been in place for quite some time. But you know, for others who are interested in building a pod, it's really not that hard. It's just reaching out to your neighbors and creating a group and finding a way to communicate with them. So it's not very hard. You can reach out to me or Maseeda if anyone wants to start a pod. It doesn't have to be pandemic related. It's just a way of, I think, meeting with your neighbors and staying in touch and supporting each other.
Thank you guys so much for speaking with me. Your work with the pods has been incredible, and the best of luck to you.
Please do not forget to like, comment, and share to our channel. Follow us on all our social media platforms. And for more information, please check out our website.